Iceland is one of the few places on Earth where opposites don't just exist, they collide. In one direction, you'll see massive glaciers that look frozen in time. In another, you'll find volcanoes that can wake up without warning and reshape the land overnight. This is a country where boiling water comes straight out of the ground, yet ice-cold winds can cut through you even in the middle of summer. People often think of Iceland as peaceful and beautiful, and it is. But it's also raw, unpredictable, and sometimes dangerous. Black sand beaches with waves strong enough to pull you into the ocean. Waterfalls so powerful they sound like thunder. Lava fields that look like another planet. And above it all, on the right night, the sky itself starts to move, glowing green and purple as the northern lights dance overhead. In this video, we're not just showing you pretty views. We're breaking down 35 must-see places across Iceland, sharing real ticket prices, real travel conditions, and real risks you need to know before you go. This isn't a fantasy version of Iceland. It's the real one, where preparation matters just as much as curiosity. Think of this journey as part travel guide, part survival lesson, and part visual reminder of how powerful nature can be. Because the big question isn't just where to go in Iceland, it's this. How does one island hold glaciers, volcanoes, waterfalls, black sand beaches, and glowing skies, all at the same time? By the end of this video, you'll have that answer, and a clear path to experiencing it yourself. To understand Iceland, the best place to start is where fire and ice meet underground. It's geothermal lagoons. When most people think of Iceland, the Blue Lagoon is usually the first image that comes to mind. Milky blue water, steam rising into cold air, and dark volcanic rock surrounding you. It looks natural, almost ancient. But here's the surprise. It's actually man-made. The water comes from a nearby geothermal power plant, heated deep inside the earth. That alone tells you a lot about Iceland. This is a country that doesn't just live on nature, it lives off it. The heat beneath the ground powers homes, heats water, and creates places like this. But this is also where reality kicks in. The Blue Lagoon isn't a quick stop you just walk into. You need to book ahead, especially in summer, and ticket prices can range from around $110 to nearly $180 depending on the package. Iceland is incredible, but it's not cheap. And this video won't hide that. Just outside Reykjavik, there's also the Sky Lagoon, a newer geothermal spa with ocean views. It's a bit more affordable, usually $50 to $75, but even here, showing up without a reservation is a gamble. These places look calm and relaxing, but behind the scenes, timing, planning, and budgeting matter. This early part of the journey sets the tone for everything else in Iceland. Yes, it's stunning. Yes, it's unique. But it's also high demand, carefully managed, and unforgiving if you're unprepared. Iceland rewards travelers who plan ahead and punishes those who don't. And once you've felt that warm water surrounded by cold air, you're ready for what comes next. The route that introduces Iceland at its most powerful and historic, the Golden Circle. If Iceland had a heartbeat, you'd feel it along the Golden Circle. This is the most famous route in the country, and for good reason. In a single day, it shows you how Iceland was shaped, not just by nature, but by history and time. The journey usually starts at Thingvellir National Park, a place that is both geologically and historically mind-blowing. This is one of the only places on Earth where you can literally walk between two continents. On one side is the North American tectonic plate. On the other is the Eurasian plate. They're slowly pulling apart, about the speed your fingernails grow. But over centuries, that movement has torn the land open. This is also where Iceland's first parliament was founded in the year 930 AD. Think about that for a second. While much of the world was still figuring out systems of government, people were gathering here, in the open air, surrounded by cliffs and lava rock, to make laws. Nature and civilization started together here. Just nearby is the Silfra Fissure, filled with glacier water so clear it almost doesn't look real. You can snorkel here, floating between continents in water that's just above freezing. It's beautiful, but it's also a reminder. Iceland doesn't care about comfort. Even its most magical experiences require you to respect the cold. Then there's Gullfoss, a massive waterfall that feels like Iceland showing off. The water crashes down in stages, so powerful that the mist often creates rainbows on sunny days. It's sometimes called Iceland's mini Niagara Falls, except here you're standing in open wind with no guardrails between you and raw force. And finally, the Strákur Geyser. Every 5 to 10 minutes, the ground bubbles, swells, and suddenly erupts, shooting boiling water up to 60 feet into the air. No countdown, no warning, just pressure releasing itself. It's not a show, it's the earth breathing. The golden circle isn't just scenic, it's proof that Iceland is alive beneath your feet. And once you've seen that power up close, the next question becomes clear. What kind of people choose to live here? That answer waits in the capital, Reykjavik. After seeing Iceland's raw power, Reykjavik feels almost gentle, but don't let its size fool you. This is the heart of the country, where people have learned how to live with cold, wind, darkness, and isolation, and still build a culture that feels warm and creative. Reykjavik sits right along the ocean, and on a clear day, you can see mountains rising in the distance. It's technically a city, but it feels more like a large town. There are colorful buildings, cozy cafes, and restaurants serving everything from fresh seafood to traditional Icelandic dishes. At night, the city comes alive with music, bars, and nightlife. Proof that people here don't let the long winters stop them from enjoying life. One of the city's most recognizable landmarks is Hallgrímskirkja, the massive church that towers over Reykjavik. Its design is inspired by Iceland's basalt columns, the same natural rock formations you'll see along the coast. Standing in front of it, you realize something important. Even Iceland's architecture is shaped by nature. Nearby, you'll find a statue of Leif Erikson, one of the first Europeans to reach North America, long before Columbus. Iceland's history is full of explorers, and you can feel that spirit in places like the National Museum of Iceland, where Viking artifacts, medieval churches, and stories of survival fill in the gaps between landscapes. Reykjavik isn't just a stop between destinations. It's where Iceland's story becomes human. It shows how people adapted, endured, and built a society in one of the world's toughest environments. But once you leave the city, the crowds thin out, the roads stretch longer, and Iceland starts to feel truly remote. To understand that side of the country, you have to head north, into wide open space. Once you leave Reykjavik and head north and east, Iceland begins to feel less like a destination and more like a wilderness. The roads get quieter, the towns get smaller, and honestly, the landscapes start to feel almost unreal, like they haven't changed in thousands of years. One of the most photographed places in the country is Kirkjufell, often called Church Mountain. It rises sharply from the ground, with a waterfall flowing in front of it, creating a view that looks perfectly designed, except it's completely natural. On clear nights, this area is also famous for Northern Lights photos, where green light dances above the mountain like something out of a dream. Not far away is Høyfoss, one of Iceland's tallest waterfalls. Its name literally means high waterfall, and when you stand near the edge, you understand why. The drop is massive, and there are no big fences or viewing platforms. Iceland often trusts visitors to use common sense, which makes the experience feel more real, but also more serious. In East Iceland, places like Hengifoss and Studlagal Canyon show off colors you don't expect. Red and orange layers in the rock, blue glacier rivers cutting through dark stone, and long hiking paths that force you to slow down. These aren't quick photo stops. They're places that demand time and effort, and that's part of the reward. Out here, you start to feel how small you are. The wind is louder, the silence is deeper, and help can be far away if something goes wrong. This is Iceland at its most honest, breathtaking, peaceful, and indifferent to whether you're ready or not. And just when you start to feel comfortable in the quiet, the journey takes a sharp turn toward the south, where beauty and danger sit side by side. Southern Iceland is where the country shows its most dramatic contrast. Stunning beauty wrapped in real danger. At first glance, it feels like a highlight reel: waterfalls, beaches, glaciers, and open roads. But this is also where Iceland reminds you that nature doesn't negotiate. Take Reynisfjara Beach, the famous black sand beach near Vik. The sand is jet black, the cliffs rise sharply from the sea, and massive basalt columns line the shore. It looks calm from a distance, but the ocean here is anything but. The waves, known as sneaker waves, can rush up the beach without warning and pull people into freezing water. Every year, tourists get too close. Some don't make it back. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to make you alert. In Iceland, beauty often comes with rules you can't ignore. Further along the coast is Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon, where giant chunks of ice break off a glacier and float slowly toward the ocean. The ice is thousands of years old, glowing white and blue as it drifts past. Just across the road is Diamond Beach, where those same chunks wash up on black sand, sparkling like crystals. It's one of the most surreal sights on Earth. But the water is ice cold, and the currents are strong. You admire from a distance here. Then there are the waterfalls, Skagafoss and Seljalandsfoss. Skagafoss crashes down with so much force that rainbows often appear in the mist. Seljalandsfoss is famous because you can walk behind it, standing inside a cave-like space while water roars inches away. It's magical, but slippery, cold, and soaking wet if you're unprepared. The southern coast teaches an important lesson. Iceland gives you access, not protection. There are fewer barriers, fewer signs, and fewer second chances. Respecting the environment isn't optional here, it's survival. And once you understand that balance between awe and caution, you're ready to face Iceland's deepest truth, the fire that still burns beneath the ice. What makes Iceland truly different from anywhere else isn't just what you see on the surface. It's what's happening underneath. This island is one of the most volcanically active places on Earth. Even when everything looks calm, pressure is always building below your feet. Just outside Reykjavik lies Fagradalsfjall, a volcano that has erupted multiple times in recent years. When it's active, rivers of lava crawl across the landscape like glowing metal. When it's quiet, the land still feels tense, cracked, steaming, and warm in places. Icelandic volcanoes don't follow schedules. They wake up when they're ready. Then there's Vatnajökull, one of the largest glaciers in Europe. It covers volcanoes beneath its ice, trapping heat and pressure below thousands of tons of frozen weight. When eruptions happen here, they can cause massive floods in minutes. Ice melts, rivers surge, landscapes change. It's a reminder that Iceland isn't finished forming. It's still under construction. This constant battle between fire and ice is why Iceland looks the way it does. It's why the ground is black, the water is powerful, and the air smells faintly of sulfur in some places. You're not walking on stable ground. You're walking on a planet actively reshaping itself. Understanding this makes every hike, every waterfall, and every quiet moment feel more intense. Because in Iceland, the silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means something is waiting. If you want the full Iceland experience, you can't just see a few spots. You need the Ring Road, a 1,332-kilometer loop that circles the entire island. It's not just a road trip. It's a journey through every side of Iceland. You'll pass the black sand beaches of the south, glaciers and lagoons, waterfalls at every turn, volcanic landscapes, and remote towns that feel frozen in time. Some travelers do it in 7 to 10 days. Others take longer to hike, explore, and chase the light. Along the ring road, small towns like Seyðisfjörður show Iceland's quieter side. Colorful houses tucked at the end of fjords, surrounded by mountains that look like giant guardians. You might spot shepherds tending sheep, Arctic foxes peeking from rocks, or flocks of puffins along the cliffs. And if you're lucky, you'll see whales from the shore or take a boat tour to get even closer. Then there's the sky. Nothing compares to the northern lights, the aurora borealis, dancing across Iceland's dark winter skies. The best time to see them is from September to mid-April, far from city lights. Green, purple, and pink waves move overhead like the planet itself is alive. It's the perfect reward after driving, hiking, and exploring every extreme Iceland offers. By the end of this journey, you've touched glaciers, walked between continents, felt boiling geothermal water on your skin, stared down waterfalls, wandered lava fields, and watched the sky ignite in color. Iceland isn't just a place you visit, it's a place that changes you. So if you've been inspired by this video, don't just watch, plan your trip, respect the land, and experience it for yourself. And if you want to keep exploring, check out our other videos where we travel to the most beautiful and extreme places on Earth. Because adventure doesn't wait, and neither should you.